Back home, the Baillieu Government is scrapping Victoria's legislated target to reduce the state's greenhouse emissions by 20% by 2020. It's also revealed new coal-fired power stations will no longer be required to meet strict limits on their carbon emissions. Frances Bell reports.
It was introduced with great fanfare by the Baillieu Government less than 2 years ago.
The longer we put off doing something about it, the harder the problem gets.
But Victoria's 20% emission reduction target is headed for the scrap heap after an independent review found it would be superseded by the incoming federal carbon tax, would disadvantage Victoria compared to other states and would be costly to achieve.
The report shows us that there's a $2.2 billion cost in purchasing international carbon permits. That's not a cost that we should be putting on Victorians.
Instead, the government will back the national pollution reduction target of 5%.
The Baillieu Government have put the nail in the coffin of clean energy and all the jobs associated with it, not interested in dealing with climate change, not interested in a state of clean energy.
It's a very sensible decision for Victorian business. We already have a national emissions reduction target and the impending carbon tax, so it's good news for Victorian business.
The decision to scrap the 20% target means that all state-based emission reduction programs and incentives are now under review. The Minister's made it clear that any programs seen to be duplicating federal schemes will be dumped. That could include the Victorian energy efficiency target.
Our range of programs in this space will be determined on what we're going to keep following discussions with the federal government.
The government's also dumping another emissions policy, which requires new coal-fired power stations in Victoria to produce less than 0.8 tonnes of carbon emissions per megawatt hour. The Energy Minister says abandoning the restriction will bring Victoria in line with the Commonwealth, New South Wales and Queensland and reduce uncertainty for projects like the controversial HRL dual gas plant proposed for the Latrobe Valley. Frances Bell, ABC News, Melbourne.